Hi, I'm Mark, coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. The purpose of this video is, in 10 minutes or less, is to give you a sketch of what has happened, why we're here, and what this means. 10 minutes is a short period of time. I'm going to try and do the best I can. All right, I received this. This is the declaratory ruling. This was put out by the Michigan Department of Natural Resources, and this was put out in 2011 sometime. I received it about December time frame. And when I read through it, it stated that because we have a huge feral swine problem here in Michigan, that the DNR suggested that we deal with this by putting out a list of characteristics, and if your pig on your farm has even one of those characteristics, your pig is feral and you need to depopulate your pig. That means kill your pig or sell it or slaughter it by April 1st of 2012. Well, I inquired into this, and sure enough, the DNR wasn't fooling around. We thought they were, because some of the characteristics are ear structure, erect ears or floppy ears, that's feral pig, tail structure, curly tail or straight tail, that's a feral pig, and that's illegal. Juvenile coat pattern, striped piglets, feral pig. Now they're not concerned with if these pigs are behind fences. They're just saying because of those characteristics, it's a feral pig. It's profiling is what it is. It's like saying a guy with red curly hair is most likely going to be a drunk because he's Irish. You can't do that, right? I do that because I'm Irish, right? All right, and you know, there's other ones that are equally as ridiculous. The number 9 is about the best, and it's other characteristics not currently known by the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. So they're leaving the door open to claim anything is a characteristic of a feral pig, and therefore illegal. All right, so I didn't agree with this, and I challenged them in a court of law. We filed a complaint 2012. And the Attorney General's office has gotten involved as the prosecutorial entity in this. And the 2 lawyers that are involved here are Danielle Allison Yoakum and Kelly Drake. And they have one other dude working with them now, and I guess maybe he's got the secret weapon that they've been looking for. But the reason I mention their names is because they're family people just like me. You know, I know that. And yet they are just doing their job, I guess, by prosecuting me and my family. And I don't agree with that, and I don't think that they should have anonymity. I think that it should be well known who they are and what their names are. And, you know, if any of you want to call me on the phone and tell me what you think, you know, my phone number is available on my website, and I welcome those calls. I enjoy those calls. But likewise, you know, you could call them and tell them what you think about what they're doing. And I just, because in a struggle like this, it is us, the American people. I represent the American people. I'm an American farmer. I'm a 20-year veteran of military service, been through a couple of wars. I represent the average American. The state and their attorneys and their bureaucrats, they do not represent you. I do. And I think that there are a lot of people that are angry about this, and you really need to know who to talk to if you're angry. And that's Kelly Drake and Daniel Allison Yoakum. And I don't know who the dude is. When I find out his name, I'll put it out there. Okay, we sued for relief. We've tried to get to court, and the Attorney General's office has pushed it off and pushed it off and pushed it off. And their goal seems to be to just starve us, because we are not allowed to sell our animals, so we're basically under embargo here. We're up against Michigan Department of Ag as well, and they've not been very good as far as our other business goes. It seems as though they've worked on our other customers as well. It seems. We're not exactly sure about that, but it just seems that way. So we've had quite the struggle here since this began, trying to keep the farm open, keep the electricity paid, and keep everything paid that needs to be paid, just to keep it open. I've got 8 children here, and my intention was to pass this on to my, develop a heritage here and teach my children these skills, these traditional farming skills, and pass it on to them. If the DNR wins this, we're looking for a new place to live. And I don't think that's really fair, and I don't think that Danielle and Kelly, I don't think how you could think that was fair if your kids were looking for a new room to sleep in, having to get used to a new house and things like that, all because of a cockamamie declaratory ruling that some bureaucrat put out at the behest of industrial ag. Why? Because they just want more market share for what they do. We know who's behind this, and we're going to develop it fully in court. We've got some real damning evidence that we're going to bring out in court. And our goal is to just get to court, and things should be okay. Okay, what can you do, and why should you do anything? Here's why you should do something. The declaratory ruling is, it's written like it's written by 12-year-olds, but it is law, and it was created by the Department of Natural Resources. The DNR is nothing more than a regulatory agency. They don't make law, they just enforce law. The laws are made by our legislature. Those are people that we elect and put in office. They make a stupid law, we vote them out. A regulatory agency like, say, the Department of Natural Resources, or let's say the state police. And I don't have a beef with the state police, I just use them as an example. Let's say the state police decide, amongst a bunch of guys sitting at a table, a break room table, we don't like cars that are 10 years or older because they're faster than these new pieces of garbage on the road, whatever. And they just come out with a declaratory ruling. Michigan State Police, any car 10 years or older, outlawed. And we start pulling them over, giving them heavy fines. That's exactly what this is. It's exactly what this is. And our legislators have no power to step in and stop this, if you can believe that. And these guys are pushing ahead with this. Doesn't seem to make any sense to me. Our governor could have stepped in. Our attorney general could have stepped in. Our sheriff could have stepped in and said, no, this is violating the rights my citizens have, and you will not do this. But they're not. They're caving to the pressures of industrial ag that they're putting on them. And what those pressures are, we don't know exactly. But a court of law, we can get results in a court of law, and we can have our case heard. Win, lose, or draw, we do want to get to court and make that information available to everyone, and we plan to do that. So what can you do? Let me just explain a little bit more. If the DNR can say that any pig with a straight tail or curly tail is illegal, or any pig with a straight floppy ear or an erect ear is illegal, where does that end? And what I mean is, could they say next that brown cows, we don't like brown cows. Brown cows get hit by cars out on the road, so they're feral, they're illegal. No more brown cows, only black and white cows. Could they do that? Darn right they could. What about chickens that are out free-ranged? They might not like that. And if you look at all the people that signed on to the declaratory ruling, or signed on to the Feral Swine Initiative is called, they were all industrial ag entities, all the way from Greenstone Farm Credit Services, Michigan Poultry, Michigan Milk, Michigan Potato, all of them, all the industrial farm entities. And why would they do that? What does Michigan Milk care about feral swine? Which, the initial claim by the DNR is that we have this huge problem with feral swine. I've never seen one. I've met one person that's seen a pig out in the woods while she was hunting. She didn't know if it was feral or what. DNR has said that there's between 5,000 and 8,000 of them back in 2009, and they say they're prolific breeders. No one sees them. No one sees them. And the DNR doesn't produce any evidence that they've seen them. They just say that they're out there. There's proof positive that there are no feral swine in the state of Michigan. And here's the proof positive. You can't go from here to the next town over without seeing a dead deer on the side of the road. We got a lot of deer here, and they get smacked by cars all the time. I've hit them. And they lay dead on the side of the road, budget cuts and everything. County doesn't even pick them up anymore. I raise pigs, and I can tell you, they are an omnivore. That means they eat meat and they eat vegetable, just like us. There is nothing a pig would like better than a dead deer all full of maggots. They would love that. They'd be on that so quick. So that's proof positive that we have no feral swine, because every place where you see a dead deer, you would see feral swine on that deer. And let me clarify, a feral pig, what a feral pig is. A feral pig is a pig that was either abandoned or has escaped, and usually they go back into the wild, but they could be in an urban setting. And in order to survive, they're foraging for food here and there. They're sleeping outside, so they do fur up a little bit, and they do tusk up a little bit. They get tusks. And that's because they're rewilding themselves, and they have to do that in order to survive. We raise pigs out on the fields. Our pigs do fur up. The reason we do it is because pigs need to dig. They need sunshine, and they need good water, and they need the minerals that are in the dirt in order to build healthy bodies. The antithesis to the way that we raise pigs is to raise them in confinement. And that's where there's 5,000 of them in a house, and it's a real bad situation. They have to cut their tails off and all this other stuff because the animals just get frustrated. Their life is in jail, their entire life. And it's just bad. Okay, I'm at 12 minutes now. I can only put 15 on here. Please, our court hearing is on the 12th of July, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the Saukey County Courthouse. I need every one of you there. I would love to have 1,000 people there in the court and in the courtyard. No, that's really not possible, but maybe we can come close. The next day is a Saturday, and we're going to have a fundraiser here starting at 10 o'clock. Really nothing special. We're just going to roast some pigs, have plenty to eat and drink, and open the farm up. You can camp here. You can. We have a dormitory type house. It's just an old house where we have bunk beds in, and first come, first serve. We're not going to be charging anything to stay there. And we hope to have some music and just have some fun. We got a pond we can swim and stuff, and people can stay Saturday and pull out on Sunday sometime if they want. We want to be careful. We don't want any incidents, drunk driving or anything like that. So we've got to be really careful and be on our best behavior. But it would be nice to just meet and greet all the people that we've gotten to know through this struggle, and come together and say, okay, where do we go from here? All right, I got to sign off here. I'm running out of time. Mark from Baker's Green Acres. Remember, anyone can farm. Thank you.